Welcome to session number 2 of Get Your Spark Back, even after years of distance. I know that you're here because you really want to experience deep connection, deep intimacy. There's something in you that longs for more. I know also that the more we stay together with our partners, the more that we might get into a cycle that actually doesn't work, where we start to feel disconnected, and we might feel like, I have no idea how to bridge that connection, how to come back together. And today I'm going to share with you the 7 myths that destroy the connection, destroy the intimacy. Once you know those myths, you can start melting the distance between the two of you, and you can start feeling more connected. You can start to experience more affection, more love, being together, and start to feel that your heart is opening up again to your partner. I know also that those myths, and we're going to talk about them today, 7 myths, they don't just live in our head. It's very important to understand them, but also you start to feel them in your body, how they affect you on your body level, because we can't think our way through certain things. And if there's disconnection in the relationship, maybe there's disconnection with yourself. Yeah, with your own sexuality, with your own femininity. It's so important to not just think about them, but actually, as I'll be talking about it, notice how they affect your body, what actually happens in your body. And I just go to the slides. So this is our training number 2. If you missed the first training, we talked about something very important, that midlife isn't the end of passion. It's actually the beginning of your most turned on, passionate years. We explored that our body isn't just shutting down, but actually it's evolving. Our desire is evolving, and the way we connect with our partners is evolving. We want to have more depth. We also talked about sexual and emotional attachment systems. If you haven't watched the training, please, after you finish this one, please go back and watch training number 1, because we talked about very important concepts. Also going to inspire you that it's possible for you. It's not too late. It's never too late. And we also explored in our training number 1, the signs, what are actually happening inside of us after midlife. And we did a powerful practice, simple but very powerful practice of how to start melting the distance in your relationship. So I highly recommend you go back to that training. And today we're going to talk about the 7 myths that kill the intimacy. As we talked in the training 1, is that midlife is our portal, most passionate, most connected years. And you might be asking, then if that's true, why don't I feel it? Why does intimacy feel like work? Maybe, like something on my to-do list. Or why do I feel numb? Why do I feel exhausted? Why do I feel disconnected? And that's exactly what we're going to be diving today, because these myths, they keep us from deeply connecting to ourselves, deeply connecting to our partners. We're going to dismantle these myths today. And we're going to learn how to break free from those outdated beliefs about mature sexuality that have shaped your desire, your confidence, your relationships. And also what's actually possible for you when you stop following the shoots and actually start listening to your own body. You're going to learn a simple practice to feel more confident, more connected to yourself. That's what one of my clients said, how these myths can really set us free. And Veronica said that I didn't know how much these old stories were affecting me. And that's so true. Quite often we have no idea. But then when I let them go, I felt a new kind of freedom in my body, like I had that permission to want again. Let's just name questions so many women carry. And I hear that all the time. They ask, is there something wrong with me? Is there something wrong with him? Is there something wrong with our relationship? Is it even possible to want him again? And if you've asked these questions, you're not alone. And here's what I'd love you to consider today. What if it's not you or your relationship? What if it's not your partner? Because we've been so stuck when it comes to sex, to desire, to intimacy, because of the lies that we've been hearing all the time. And they shut down our desire, they shut down the intimacy. And these myths really shape your thoughts, your beliefs, your relationships, and your response to pleasure. And until we see them, they keep on running the show. And that's what my other clients said, that I had no idea how much conditioning I was carrying. But once we start questioning them, our whole relationship to intimacy changes. So please take a pen and a journal so you can start writing down and really becoming honest with yourself. How do these beliefs affect me? Because we might think, I know it all, it's all fine. But actually, if we go deeper inside, we're like, ooh, actually, these beliefs sit inside of me. So start checking in as I'll be talking. Check in how it affects you. And because desire doesn't just switch off with age, hormones or boredom. Connection doesn't just disappear because we've been together for so long. It shuts down because we start to believe it's not safe, I'm not wanted, maybe there's no point, maybe I'm just too tired, I'm too disconnected, maybe I'm too old, maybe my partner is not doing the right thing. Do you think this sometimes? And I just want to share with you the story of Patrina, that that's what happens after you release those beliefs from your body. And that's what she talks so beautifully about. It's not just on mental level, it's actually on our emotional body level. And it's so important. If our beliefs are kept in our body, yeah, in our system, nervous system, we need to release them from the body. So listen to the story. I hope it inspires you. Huh?
It's amazing. It's fantastic. It really is this bubbling, and it's like you often describe it. It comes from the earth and comes up through you and actually comes completely out of your body and out of fingers and hands and your laughter and just a general sense of being more relaxed in yourself. And before this course, I certainly felt very disconnected, very in my head, even while I teach Pilates and we're very talking about the body from a very physiological point of view. A completely different experience in this. This is an energy which just flows, and I never felt this beautiful sense of energy because I had so much trauma inside that I had no idea that was actually in my body. Yeah, I'd experienced trauma and I understood I'd experienced trauma, and I'd had so much counseling around that with so many people, which was continually just rehashing and making you relive that. And what I've found so beautiful about your course is that there's been none of that. There's been none of having to go back and relive those horrors, but we've just sat in sometimes difficult places, and you've just been there and just supported that, and we've acknowledged it. And different parts of me have had to talk with that pain, and I really can't express how that shifts the pain. Like, I'm still quite surprised how just doing that can create this shift in your body. It's just quite an undescribable way that these things can move.
So that's the beauty of doing this work when we do it an embodied work. And this is such a beautiful story. I'm so happy for Patrina. I wonder right now, if you just feel into that, how would that be for you to finally let go of past pain without having to relive it over and over? How would it be for you to move from being stuck in your head actually to coming back into your body, truly feeling inside your body, and check in right now. Are you living inside your body, or are you more in your head? Yeah. And how would it be for you to shift those lifelong patterns of disconnection, of tension, without having to analyze, to overthink it? And how would it be for you to reclaim your sensuality in a way that feels safe, feel natural, feel like this is me, I'm coming back home to myself? Yeah, that's what we're doing here, that you can feel that sense of wholeness, of joy, of ease inside yourself. So let's talk about the 7 intimacy myths that kill our connection, kill our desire, kill our pleasure. And again, feel into your body, how they sit in your body. So it's not just in your head, how they sit in your body. And so the first myth is that our partners are responsible for our pleasure. I hear it again and again. If only he knew what to do, if only he desired me more, if only he made me feel sexy, if only he talked to me more, if only he opened up emotionally to me, then I'll be okay, and then I could open my body and heart to love. How often do you have these thoughts? Because so many of us are conditioned to believe that pleasure comes from someone else, connection comes from someone else, that it's their job to turn us on, to unlock our desire, make us feel safe, make us feel connected. Yeah, but this is how we give our feminine power away. And the truth is that your pleasure is yours. And when you own it, your intimate relationship changes, your relationship with yourself changes, your relationship with your desire. When you choose to cultivate your pleasure, your desire, to explore it, to nurture it, then the relationship changes, your intimate relationship changes. And not just with your partner, but with yourself as well. Because when you soften, when you open your heart, when you're full of pleasure and joy, When you know how to ask for what you want, for what you need as an invitation, not like as a to-do list, then your partner is really drawn to you. Then he wants to be with you. Then he wants to give you what you want. But we need to learn how to actually ask in a way that invites love. We need to become an invitation for love rather than giving out the to-do list and being resentful, being disappointed. That's not gonna work. And it's so important for us to actually find our erotic voice. And I teach a lot of women to do that because I see it so often that our voice gets stuck in our throat and we can't really ask, or when we ask in a very forceful way and maybe a way that's repelling. So it's so important to actually learn how to ask for what you want from the deep invitational space. I am an invitation for love, and this is what I'd love to experience with you, rather than you have to do this for me, and this is what I need from you. So there is a big shift in that. And it's so important, it first comes that actually owning your power. My pleasure is mine. My power, my feminine power, has so much effect on my partner rather than you are having so much effect on me. And then we reclaim our power, and then the whole relationship changes. Our intimate relationship changes completely. And just check in, is this what you need to learn? How to ask, how to become an invitation for love, how to own your pleasure, how to own your power. Then the next myth, that desire dies with age. We've been told that passion belongs to young people, yeah? That after 40, desire is something we lose, like smooth skin, like something that just goes away. And what's important that the science tells a very different story, yeah? That desire doesn't die, it evolves. And there's a lot of research done on women in their 40s, 50s, and beyond, and they report higher levels of sexual satisfaction. Once they shed that shame, the pressure, the expectations placed on them by society. And the question is not why don't I feel like I used to, but what turns me on now? How am I different now? What do I actually really need right now? And so check in, do you believe this myth? The desire just dies. And what opens up for you when you step into that place? No, I'm evolving. I need something different. Now let's go to myth number 3. Myth number 3 is that passion fades in long-term relationships and it's not as important. See if you believe that. Yeah, that sexuality is not that important. Sexual intimacy is not as important. And the truth is that you need to deepen the connection and bring more variety to nurture passion in your relationship. Our desire changes, it doesn't disappear. And passion, it's actually what fades is the emotional closeness. It's that space where we can express ourselves. It's that safety that I can be fully myself. I can be really seen here for who I am. Because we get locked up in a destructive relational patterns. And then the pattern is the problem. Not you, not your partner. But the pattern takes over. And you need to know how to break that pattern. And as a start, we need to stop blaming ourselves, blaming our partners, and become curious about the pattern. Because in that pattern, we stop sharing our vulnerability. We start to hide parts of ourselves, and we stop sharing those messy, honest parts of ourselves. And that's what kills the passion. That's what kills the safety. That's what kills the connection. And we become more like roommates rather than lovers. And check in if that's what you do. If you believe this myth, and then what is that pattern that actually runs your relationship? Do you blame yourself? Do you blame your partner? And also the belief that sexual intimacy is not as important, it turns intimacy into a chore. It kills the passion. And the truth is that sex is a language of intimate communication that you only can experience with your intimate partner. It's such a special place. And what if the goal of sex is not having an orgasm, but actually it's for pleasure and connection? If you see sex as intimate communication, what if it's not about performance? It's about play. It's about being together. It's about deeply connecting to each other. It's about giving pleasure, receiving pleasure. Notice what happens in your body. If that's the goal, pleasure and connection is the goal of sexual intimacy, how it shifts for you. And then myth number 4 is expressing desire is selfish and unfeminine. And I see it so many times. Women share about it so many times. I can't really share my desire. How many times have you held back asking for what you want because you didn't want to seem too needy? And women are taught to be caretakers, to put everyone else's needs first, to put themselves last, to deny our desires, and then we disconnect from our power, from that sensual, sexual, feminine power. And this is the good girl syndrome. We learn how to become smaller, we become less expressive, and more accommodating for others. But that comes really at a huge cost. It brings resentment, loss of passion, and connection. And the truth is that your desire is a gift. It's what makes you magnetic, radiant, and alive. Your pleasure is a gift to yourself, to your relationship, to the world. Because a woman who owns her pleasure, her desire, she's magnetic, she's radiant, she's alive. Your desire is the biggest turn on for your partner. Most men find it actually hugely attractive to see a woman connected to her pleasure, and often your pleasure gives him much more than his own pleasure. And there is a difference between our longing, our openness, and the neediness trying to take. That's a different. So that's what sometimes we judge ourselves as being too needy. We don't open to our pleasure and desire because we go into this, I just need to somehow take it. There's a sense of like, I'm missing something. So the trick here is to really deeply connect to your deepest longing, to your pleasure, to your deepest desire. And that's if you share that with your partner, that will become so attractive. That's how you become magnetic. And we really need to learn how to own our own pleasure, our own erotic energy. So see, is that the myth that you believe in? And the next one, I need to fix myself before I can feel sexy. See if you believe in that. So many women are on this mission of fixing themselves, fixing their partners, fixing their relationships. And the thing is, you don't need to change your body. You don't need to heal everything or become someone else to be radiant. You just need to return to yourself, your breath, your heart, your pleasure. And your sexuality isn't just about pleasure, it's about feeling everything. And when you allow yourself to feel your emotions, your fears, your deep desires, you unlock a level of intimacy inside yourself and with your partner that goes way beyond pleasure. It's a deep, meaningful connection, and that's what's possible. But the thing is, if you had past intimacy wounds, either from your childhood, maybe from previous relationship, maybe in this relationship, these wounds stay stuck in our body, in our nervous system. And that's what you need help to clear them first before you can allow yourself to return home to yourself and open your heart, your body to love. And we'll talk more about this in our training 3. Yeah, because it's kind of easy to say, yeah, I just need to return to myself, but it's not as easy to do because if we have these things held in our body, we can't really open up. And just notice even right now, how open do you feel? From 1 being very close, 10 being very open. How open is your heart? How open is your sex center? How open is your body to love? Yeah, check it out. And this is what happens. The story of Julia, like when she came back to herself, to her emotions, through doing the Sexually Empowered Radiant Woman course, that's what allowed her to feel softer, yeah, more feminine. And that's what becomes so attractive for our partners.
What's been huge for me is my opening up in terms of my feelings. So I've always known that feelings are really, really important, but it's not since I was a teenager maybe, and I sobbed in my room when I was that age, that I really let my feelings out. Since then, I've been married, I've been through divorce, and all sorts of stuff has happened. And although I felt a little bit sad or a little bit tearful, I've somehow had this strategy, a clever strategy to avoid those feelings that must have been created when I was a child. I've been able to soften, to really soften, and to allow those feelings to come out. And it's been so, so healing and so, so amazing. And I really feel so much softer and more in touch with who I am.
That's what happens when we can soften up, but we need to really become friends with ourselves, come back into our bodies. And so this is the myth number 6, that we're only attractive when we're young. See if you believe that. Because we've been sold the lie that attraction is youth. We're all trying to look younger. And the truth is, and that's not the right slide, So the truth is that actually it's not about youth. It's all about our energy. Often women who were attractive when they were young, they struggle with this because they're disconnected from their radiance. But the women who radiate confidence, who take up space, who are unapologetic, it doesn't matter how old we are. Actually, what's important is our energy and how much we embody our body. That's attractiveness. It's not what we look like, but actually how much we are connected to our erotic energy, to our heart and our sexuality as well. If we just stay in our heart, we're seen as very kind, caring people. What's important is actually when we connect our heart to our sexuality, that's when we become magnetic. That's when we become attractive. That's when our partners just can't help themselves but be drawn to us, wanting to be with us. So check in, how's your heart connected to your sexuality? Or do you just live in your head? Because that's what really connecting our heart, our sexuality, coming deeply into our body. That's what shifts how other people feel us, how we feel inside ourselves. And that's what really melts the distance in a relationship, when we can come back to that magnetic feminine energy. And I know all of you have that, yeah? This is how it is. Practice for today, the Queen Walk practice. And I'll just talk you through that, and you can practice it today. And just imagine right now, you can close your eyes, lower your gaze, that you're walking into a room and you instantly feel so connected, so radiant, completely at home in your body, without needing to shrink, over-explain yourself, prove yourself. And I'll invite you, if you can do it now, or you can do it later, you can stand up, stand tall, feet grounded, your spine lengthened, and your heart open. You can open your arms as well to open your heart, and you breathe deeply. And with each breath, if you can really inhale deeply into your body, feeling that confidence, with each exhale, you release the self-judgment. And then dropping inside your body, putting your hands on your belly, connecting to your belly. Yes, softening your eye gaze. Breathing into your belly. And I'll invite you to practice this and just go for a walk. Feel into your body, your emotions, your belly. Notice how it is to be you. Not in your head, but actually dropping into your heart, dropping into your belly, deeply inside yourself. So you can do this practice today, this Queen Walk practice. Okay, and let's go to the last myth. This is myth number 7. And what women say is that it's hopeless because we've drifted too far apart. See if you believe that. And the truth is, it's never too late. And you can always bring your partner closer. Someone has to lead, someone has to be the invitation. It's in your power to actually bring your partner closer. It often starts with women reconnecting with themselves. I see it so many times when I work with my couples, that once the woman starts to soften up, she starts to connect to her heart, to her sexuality, the man is right there. And this is a story of Lenny, and she talks exactly about this, how as women we have so much power. Yeah, so start awakening to your power. You can shift a lot in your relationship.
There's a sense of security that I've acquired deep within myself. I've empowered myself even more now than what I have ever known I could do with the help of you and the other ladies that were in the course. I don't have butterflies in my stomach talking about different things with my partner anymore. I open up way more readily and we just enjoy being in that space. I've become softer inside towards my partner. I think it's helped us immensely. It has definitely helped us to form a bond that we didn't have before. We talk about things that never entered our minds prior to doing your course. We've both had a couple of sessions with you together, which also has been amazingly helpful. Definitely more open, more trusting each other more to share what we've wanted to say for the past 3 or 4 years since knowing each other. Now we know we're in a safe haven to be able to do that without any judgment or whatever there was before I joined your course. So jointly, it's been brilliant. We've really enjoyed it. I think that the investment was so worthwhile. I'm thinking about that little prison cell in my heart that I was opening up quite often through the course. It's wow, I can do this now. I don't have to hide in that prison cell anymore. Yeah, it's a fantastic feeling, to be honest. My heart's just a lot softer and freer and more willing to open up to things. After doing the course, I felt radiant inside. I felt as though I had blossomed into a new flower. I'm just more accepting of myself and of others. Before I joined your course, I was putting a lot of my qualms down to menopause, which in reality is an excuse, because we can all get ourselves out of situations that we think we're in if we put our minds to it, and our hearts as well. I grew to realize that the menopause wasn't a factor. It was more about me and how I was dealing with things internally. I've gone on HRT. That's helped, but it's not helped immensely. I don't have time is not really relevant nowadays. I know that I can put 10 minutes aside for myself if I really wanted to.
Wow.
So that, yeah. Nobody else can do that for me. You cannot do it. My partner cannot do it. I have to do that.
It's such a beautiful story how, as women, when we connect to ourselves, we can shift so much in our relationships. So I wonder, what myth do you relate to? And what myth are you ready to let go of? And I wonder if you've told yourself, maybe this is just how it is. And that's what I really want you to hear today, that that's not your truth. It's a story you've inherited. And so today you have a choice to carry it on or to put it down. Because if not now, then when? We're not getting any younger. If it's not you, then who's going to do it? And as Leni so beautifully said, I can do it. It's all up to me. Because relationships is what makes us happy. That intimacy that brings us aliveness, brings us love, brings us beauty, nourishes us. I'm so happy you're here because you're really willing to focus on the relationships. It's so important. And it's not just about sex, it's about this deep intimacy. If you think that I feel broken, and what if I try something, nothing changes? You are not broken. Your body has not forgotten how to feel. It's just been waiting for you to come back to it. And if you think that my partner won't change, so what's the point? It isn't about them, huh? It's about you. It's about when you change, your relationship will change too. And if you feel like, what if I'm uncomfortable exploring my sexuality? This is a process. It's unfolding at your own pace. And it's up to you how far you want to go. There's no pleasure, but a lot of possibility. And if you feel like I don't have time for this, I'm so happy you're here, right? Because it tells me you're actually willing. And you don't have time to keep feeling disconnected. Because every year we live without this deep connection is actually, it's a waste of life. And imagine what if intimacy, sexual intimacy gives you energy, replenishes you, nourishes you. And this is the time for you to rewrite the script, huh? What can become possible for you when you deeply connect to yourself, when you heal those wounds? And I just right now invite you to imagine, maybe close your eyes, lower your gaze so you can step into your possibility. What's possible for me? And notice how your body responds. Does it feel possible? Does it feel, oh, like, no, not for me? What if you start feeling your desire naturally rising in you? There's no pressure. There's just aliveness. And if you start experiencing pleasure, it's something that nourishes you instead of something you have to give someone, that it's for you, that your pleasure is deeply healing. Imagine walking into the room with this new kind of confidence because you own your sensuality, you own your feminine power, no matter your age, shape, size. And imagine feeling seen, feeling cherished, feeling adored, not for what you do, not for what you look like, but for the energy you radiate, for who you are. Imagine feeling confident to ask for what you need, like you are the invitation for love. And you don't need to figure it out this by yourself. So this is what we do inside the Become a Sexually Empowered Radiant Woman course, but we'll talk about it later. And for now, I really want you to sit with this feeling. What if it's possible for me? What if I can open this door and experience intimacy with my partner that I've never experienced before? Because I know that's what's possible for us. In our younger years, we didn't have this possibility because we didn't know ourselves as much. We were busy looking after kids, creating our lives, work, careers, families. Now is the time when actually we can focus on that intimacy, on our connection to ourselves, to our partners, and create something so much deeper. And if you step into that possibility, how would that be for you? Can you feel that shift, huh? That actually it's not that passion died and my desire was in my younger years and now nothing is possible, but actually right now, I can create such an amazing, intimate, passionate relationship with my partner that I've never experienced before. With everything that happening in the world right now, I believe that we need more than ever. We need love. We need more intimacy. We need more connection, not more disconnection. And this is why I do this work. This is why I love doing this work. I really feel like happy women is actually, this is what we really need. More radiant, happy women connected to themselves, connected to their passion, because that's what's going to change the world. That's what's going to change our life. That's what's going to change our relationships. When we are passionate, when we're connected to ourselves, when we feel radiant, we radiate that love, we radiate so much warmth. And that's how we warm up the world. That's how we change the world, just one woman at a time. So I'd love you to share. Please share this training with other women so we can start stepping into our radiance. So we can have way more happy women around rather than this constricted, resentful, and exhausted women. And I see it like everywhere. We feel so exhausted when we're disconnected from our pleasure, from our sensuality, from our bodies. So this is my activism. That's what I do. That's what I love doing so much. And I used to be a chartered accountant, and then I got retrained doing this beautiful work because I can see the potential of it, how much our whole life experience changes when we come back to ourselves, connect to our heart, to our femininity, yeah, the deep energy inside of us. So if you could, I would really appreciate you sharing this training on Friday or Thursday American time. We're going to look at the healing the wounds that block our intimacy and pleasure. And now that you see the myths, you might be realizing how much they've shaped your experience, but knowing these myths doesn't automatically erase them. We actually need to heal the wounds from our body. If you feel disconnected from your body, if there's shame around sexuality, and maybe you struggled with feeling sexy, feeling wanted, even when you love your partner, that's not random. It's because of the intimacy wounds that are stored in your body. And in the next training, we're going to dive into how to heal them so you can finally feel confident, sexy, desirable, and turned on again. The next training is happening on Thursday, 11 September, American time, or Friday, New Zealand time. I wonder if you can tell me in the comments here on Facebook group, which of the myths has shaped you? And what would you do differently if you no longer believe them? How your life would be different? To complete, I'll just share this last story, that it's never too late to connect to ourselves, yeah, and what is possible for us when we do.
I was very aware of having not really enjoyed my femaleness for a long time, always realizing that I had trauma as a younger child and that had an effect on my pleasure and comfort in my body. I really just felt your strength about how much you care about women's health and pleasure and joy, and it felt like a really wonderful invitation to a great opportunity. For me, it's hard to do things in a group because I grew up in a large family and the presence of other people was not a comfort. And the whole sexual thing, being 70 and knowing my body's changed so much in the last couple of years, feeling sort of like, is this ridiculous? What am I even thinking? But the desire to have the intimacy and the closeness, both physical and spiritual, emotional, gave me the courage to enroll. I was very shy in the beginning. I felt very safe with you personally. From the very beginning, though, I felt the other women's earnestness and deep desire of their own to be here in the course. And that felt really like I was in a circle. I did feel like I had met sisters who were on a similar path. The respect, the gentleness, and it felt really great to realize that I was not alone and that other women were willing to share. There is a lot of tenderness. It grew so much in our group. Oh my goodness. I think the biggest shift for me is that I trust myself so much more. A trust has been so missing. The self-respect that I've gained and the confidence I've gained has been really meaningful, deeply meaningful. I feel that my past doesn't dominate me anymore. I feel hopeful and energized and focused on my own pleasure, on my own decisions. Being willing to listen to my body on those deeper levels has really shifted me away from a sense of hopelessness and self-loathing. I had a lot of self-loathing going into the course. I feel like I took her hand right where it was the most painful and learned together about loving ourselves in that most difficult, painful place. It's more embodied because I think if I look back 3 months ago, I was not occupying my body the way that I'm occupying my body now. I actually have fallen in love with my breasts, which I thought would never happen. I feel more sure of myself in relating to other people. I don't feel afraid of losing myself. My boundaries really affected my relationships. I don't need other people's approval as much. I feel that I have more of a sense of myself, and I communicate myself in a gentler, softer way, which feels more natural. It's given me a chance to think that I might be in relationship, that I could actually do a relationship. So much of the feeling of it's too late is an external force that we allow in. It takes a lot to dig down deep for that kernel of aliveness that we all have and to really claim it and say, I want this. It just feels so good to claim myself. I really, really love this course. I feel that you really know what you're doing in terms of the psycho-emotional aspect, but mostly it's the caring and the respect. I would say to women, have any inkling of wanting to do this, to trust that inkling and really be willing to stand up for yourselves and claim something new and beautiful in your life. It's a very special place and time, this workshop, to grow and fall in love with yourself. It's a miracle. I think it's remarkable that women do continue to be fierce, to fight for their beauty and their way of being.
Isn't that beautiful? And that's what Megan talks about, that kernel of aliveness, that when we become alive inside, the whole life experience changes. And so I'll see you on training number 3 the day after tomorrow, where we're going to talk about the intimacy wounds. And please do comment below this video. You can comment in our Facebook group. Some people are watching on Facebook group. Please do comment, share what resonates, share what myths you believe in, and what would happen if you let go of them. And with a big, big, big hug, I'll see you soon. Bye.